Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your dynamic agent of dinosaur knowledge and things that aren't dinosaurs, as we're about to find out. Today, well, let's backtrack just a bit. Saturday night, Sven Gulli aired The Lost World 1960 on his fine program, and it was good. It's a 97-minute movie, so there was not a lot of um, time. They cut some of the shenanigans out, the shenaniganery, but I think they aired all of it. So it got me to thinking. I've seen this movie a total of 3 or 4 times. If you count this last time, maybe 4 times total in my life. But I did see it once on the big screen at a kiddie matinee. It was packed with kids. 2 showings that were so full we had to wait 2 hours to see the next showing because there were so many kids. Waited in line, a bunch of squirrely kids for 2 hours. There were not enough comic books at City News to read. Be that as it may, before we get too much further, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I'm really enjoying the comments from recently. So if you have comments about The Lost World, any adaptation of it, or the book, we have talked about the book already, which is a cracking great adventure, despite it being written in 1912, something like that. And really, I need to review the 1925 movie, which we will do, because it does have dinosaurs in it. This one does not have a single dinosaur in it, no matter what Irwin Allen says. But let's just get right into this then. We start out with some fine opening credits. The movie is well directed. I can't fault that at all. It's got a great cast. It's just should have been called something else. But we do have some fine credits, fine looking credits, and can't fault it. Like I said, it's 97 minutes. It was released on July 13th in 1960, and then a lot of the lizard parts were reused in many of Irwin Allen's movies, and even one British Hammer movie of all things. It made about double its budget, so it was a big budget, million and a half dollars, and then of course was on television, and so there were. I mean, Irwin Allen got his money for it. All right, and well, we'll get into this, and the greatest moment of your lives. So we land. We have a TWA plane landing in the London airport allegedly, and in the book, this is almost exactly how Challenger introduces himself to Edward Malone, except that there were not transatlantic flights in when the book was written, but he does clobber him. And Professor Challenger is played by the wonderful Claude Rains, who has been everyone from The Invisible Man to Sir Guy of Gisborne. Is too many to name, but he's amazing. And of course, he's in Casablanca. He's great. He's great. He's exactly the way Challenger is in the book. And so down goes Ed, and now here's Jill St. John, who played the Joker's Mall in the pilot episode of not the Joker, the Riddler. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. The one who dresses up and pretends to be Robin and somehow tricks Batman into thinking she's a teenage boy. But she was also the first American Bond girl for which one is that one? Diamonds Are Forever. And her performance is only marred by this stupid poodle named Frosty. Now, I may keep calling the Frosty Poodle, It's a Fruital. The Frosty Poodle Cinnamon, but that's just the Big Bang Theory at work here. So she's her father is the owner of the paper that Ed works for. She knows, she's very observant, and she's a spitfire early on, and then just kind of turns into a damsel in distress by the final act in the movie. Nice car. She's driving. Of course, it's an American car, but she must be doing 80 miles per hour. I don't know if probably by 1960 it hadn't gone metric yet. Be that as it may. So Challenger has made headlines once again, and the zoological. This is all pretty much right out of the book. Just brought up another 50 years ish, 48 years. There they are. It's still a very staid British. Very, very, don't you know? And there's our other professor, Professor Summerlee, also from the book. He is played by. Where'd he go? Richard Hayden, who was in many comedies in none that I've seen, apparently. But he's very fine. And once again, the cast is great. And there is Lord John Roxton, sportsman. He is according to him, Jill St. John as Jennifer Holmes is after him for his title. Now, this gives it a little interesting twist because the love triangle is right there, but there's not much of one in this movie. There's hardly any of one, although Ed's certainly interested in Jennifer. And that, I don't know if that red hair of hers is no lie. At the first part of the movie, yeah, sure. But once again, so Challenger presents his findings. He's discovered a dinosaur, a lost plateau of dinosaurs. And there's questions, and they make fun of him. It's not nearly as boisterous as it's presented in the book, but there were also no women in the gallery either. But Challenger's reputation precedes him as being a very loud person. So he proposes, they don't have any proof, so he wants to go back before the rainy season, which is, always in South America. But he needs volunteers, and she volunteers, but he says, no, there will be no women on my expedition. And we know that's just not going to fly. Incidentally, Lord John Roxton there is played by Michael Rennie. He probably should have stood still like he did when the Earth stood still. Oh, he might have been ill. Dang it. I blew that one. And, of course, Ed Malone is David Hedison. You may remember him as the Fly in the original Fly. And he was also, of course, in 4 seasons of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea and a couple of Bond movies. So, once again, a great cast. Very likable. And so she, kind of goads him into, she's a spitfire. That red hair of hers is probably no lie. Then financing. And Challenger thinks, we'll get the public to finance it. But the newspaper man, Jennifer's father, and he's played by John Graham, who does not have a clickable link, so we're out of luck here. All right, so we've got our cast and crew. Papers go. I love these sort of things, just these interstitials. And then we get another shot of the TWA plane flying somewhere over a lake. And the illustrated diary of tomorrow, El Cronista, the Times. So, if you can't read Spanish. This was all shot in Southern California, much like Darby O'Gill and the Little People the year prior. Tries to make you think it's in South America, but it's not. And there's Fernando Lamas, a very famous actor from the Argentinian cinema. He is the father of Lorenzo Lamas. That's a fact I just found out. And that's his minion, Costa, who's played by Jay Novello. I'm of the opinion that he probably played a lot of these swarthy fellows who end up getting killed. Spoiler alert. And suddenly, Jennifer and her younger brother David show up. And she's like, I'm going on the trip, and brings that damn dog Frosty along with all of her pink accoutrement that you can imagine. I don't know why they thought they needed a Frosty dog in here, but they did. And off they go, because Can't go back. Incidentally, Fernando, and I will say he's a striking man. I'm not going to say he looks marvelous, but that'll be it. But he's the helicopter pilot. There they are. Everyone smokes in here, cigars, and I don't know what cheroot that he's smoking. He looks a little bit like Pierce Brosnan to me, a little bit. I mean, let me know. If you think so, let me know in the comments. I'd appreciate it. Much stock footage. There's the plane. Look at this, gorgeous. I mean, this movie is well shot. This print is amazing. It's the one aired on Svengoolie was just, I think it's the same one. Probably there's a DVD release of it. I did get this off the Internet Archive, and
there it is, directly ahead. A body of land uplifted by volcanic eruption 100 million years ago. The land where monsters lived.
But dinosaurs aren't monsters. Also, the music is great. I really enjoyed the music here. It fit really well. It was done by Paul Sawtelle and Bert Schefter. And all it says here is, Bert was a Russian-born composer who worked primarily in America. North America, that is, not Central or South or Canadian or Mexican. But I must not think bad thoughts. So here's a miniature. The miniatures are great. I mean, this movie had it could have been wonderful, except. So there's the real copter. I think they look the same. Everyone just disembarks. And of course, the reporter's taking all of his own pictures. And then there has full course meal here. I'm assuming that champagne, probably it's chilled, glasses. I don't know what they're eating, but it makes me hungry just looking at it. Everyone settles down to sleep. Where are the bugs? There's got to be bugs, although they're up at altitude a bit, maybe a couple thousand feet, at least a couple hundred. So maybe the bugs there's a breeze, so the bugs don't just sit there. If you read the book, it does have a wonderful illustration of the lost world. But they hear something in the distance. Dun, dun, dun. Cinnamon runs off, and of course, Jennifer runs after her precious poodle, her Fruital. And we see in the distance here something. Although if you know what you know, it's a lizard. And there's lots of crunching, and they've rescued Cinnamon. And whatever it is has destroyed the helicopter. So now they're stuck up there. They have to try to figure out a way out. Uh-oh. And of course, there's harsh words. A plant tries to eat Summerlee because there's man-eating plants, as we've seen. And they find their first dinosaur. Yes, and I did use air quotes. Guess who sees the first dinosaur? Or the first... It's an iguana. Why didn't they... Summerlee, or not Summerlee, but Challenger has said it was probably a sauropod, namely the Brontosaurus. They could have gone with an iguanodon. I mean, I could at least accept it being a, Crystal Palace type iguanodon. It's not dangerous unless it steps on you. It's eating food. But look at the mat scene here, though. You can't even tell where the iguanodon and the live action, they're combined perfectly. And that's amazing. I mean, again, the special effects here work. And the lizards are shot well, but leaping lizards, it's a lizard. So when I first saw this, it was advertised in the paper. Again, lovely. The special effects here are top notch. I don't remember. I had to be like 10 or 12, between the ages of 9 and 12. And it was advertised as The Lost World, 1925. I don't remember what channel it was on. It was on late at night, but I tuned in to see, because I knew that there were dinosaurs in one version and lizards in the other. And guess which one it was. So I was salty about that for a long time. And here is our native girl, who is played by Bettina Marcus, and she was also in the episode of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea that used every foot and dressed exactly the same way. David Hedison dressed the same way so they could reuse a lot of stock footage. She is now a realtor, apparently. She's only in like four movies, and then a bunch of television. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea twice. Man from Uncle, Lost in Space twice. The Time Tunnel twice. So obviously Irwin thought highly of her. And he would reuse people that he got along with, according to all the books I read. I've never seen a giant green tarantula. Apparently they spin webs, which no other tarantula does. But she just runs by it. It's like Ed comes along. When he runs by, he just shoots it first. He brings her to the camp. These two are annoyed because if she's there, then her people are there. They'll be looking for her. Then we get a fight because of you have to. And now we sense something is up with these two because they found the journal of where did he go? Coded to, where is it? Burton White. Burton instead of Maple White, because it's Maple Whiteland in the book, but Burton White, who was there before him, and we find out that Johnny, as Jennifer calls him, Johnny and Jenny, oh geez, makes you want to barf, has been there before, but he never got around to it because of a woman, so it's one of the reasons. But yeah, you can tell. See, doesn't he look like Pierce Brosnan? I mean, Nando there. So David's already in love with a native girl. Need to give her a name, really. But she already knows how to shoot. Dun, dun, dun. And now we've got our second. There are only 3 giant lizard sequences in this entire movie, not counting where you don't really see what wrecks the plane or the helicopter, pardon me. This one, and this is the one that shows up in When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth. For some reason, to pad that movie out even more at 100 minutes, it did not need padding. We'll get there. And then a little alligator, and they fight, and I'm not showing you that because it's just cruel. Unfortunately, Frosty survives, but they go back, and David goes after her. Not David, but Ed goes after her, and they find that the whole camp is deserted. But guess what? The natives have found them. But they let Gomez, Manuel Gomez as Nando, get to keep his guitar for some reason. Does that look like it only has 4 strings? He sort of mimes playing it pretty well. I mean, he pretends like he knows chords. I think one of them was called The Old Lady. There you go, Lilith. Friends reference. Go look outside and see if there's if anyone's still out there. Yep. I have 2 trailers here for you, and we're getting.
Yes, you're heading out of this world. Like jet airliner.
So we're getting toward the end here, so I'm going to put a trailer in right now in between.
Footprints on the sands of time. This is the footprint of one of the monsters who ruled the earth millions of years ago, found in the lost world of the Amazon jungle. Through clues like this, science detectives more brilliant than Sherlock Holmes unlock the riddle of the past as they dig out the fossilized bones of our giant predecessors on this planet. But finding them is only a part of this great adventure story. Reconstructing the whole creature from fragments calls for truly inspired deduction. Here they fit together the bones of a hairy mammoth, long-tusked ancestor of our present-day elephant. These, the skeletons in our closet. Weird titans who seem no more real than a nightmare to the tiny humans who rule the earth at present. A nightmare? Let's get back to the footprint in the motion picture version of Arthur Conan Doyle's great novel, The Lost World, and examine it more closely. For it's not 1,000,000 years old. It was made only a few moments ago.
A dinosaur!
Now the screen recreates in color and cinemascope the wonders that Doyle visualized in his masterpiece. A vast plateau in the Amazon jungle, lifted from contact with the rest of the world by an ancient volcanic eruption. Isolating reptile life of the Jurassic Age. Rediscovered by modern explorers whose strength is puny indeed compared to the destructive force of these monsters. Yes, man faces a desperate situation in this lost world, where the only law is survival of the fittest, the rule of fang and claw, where even the vegetation is a death trap, where spiders grow to giant proportions, where terrified flight across the spine of a dinosaur skeleton leads to a lake of lava, where the giant fire serpent rises to challenge them. Fantastic as it seems, life adapts to many different conditions. And man has come to rule the earth not by his strength, but by a brain capacity that has enabled him to triumph over these powerful but slow-witted monsters who have become extinct everywhere, but in this lost world of Arthur Conan Doyle. And it makes us wonder, will man too become extinct when he fails to adapt to changing cataclysmic conditions? Someday will a new species from this or another planet dig into the earth and find the bones of our civilization, left as footprints on the sands of time.
I had never seen that trailer before, and I thought it was pretty darn cool. I'll put the movie trailer that we're listening to.
By helicopter, into the wildest of all jungles, into the forbidding headwaters of the Amazon, with Michael Rennie, Jill St. John, David Hedison, Claude Rains, Fernando Lamas, and Frosty the Poodle.
Frosty the Poodle gets her own credit. So, to get back to the movie, native girl shows up and leads them out because she likes David too, because all the ladies like David. David's a good name for ladies to like. Well, whatever, it's what I've heard. Be that as it may, the natives decide they're either going to eat them or kill them. I'm not 100% sure which is which, does it? And it doesn't really matter at this point in time. So, native girl leads them to White there, and they talk and then talk some more. He gives them some more rifles, and Gomez, and they want to kill him, but then Costa says, no, let's wait till we find the diamonds. The diamonds, that's what they're after, because diamonds are a bad guy's best friend. And down they go. Now, this looks like they've kind of borrowed the sets from Journey to the Center of the Earth, which wouldn't surprise me, because they're good sets.
As they discover a primitive world, exactly the way it was at the dawn of time.
Exactly the way, except that there's people there, and giant lizards, which were not there at the dawn of time. Yeah, I'm still a little frosty about it. So, Native Girl helps them get through these man-eating plants, obviously, because no one's ever returned, which was the whole thing. The Lake of Fire and its guardian, who's guarding the diamonds. Diamonds are a leaping lizard's best friends. Nice shot of the cast there. And here we go. Now, this is the part where you'll see it in many of Irwin Allen's movies or television shows. So there's the Lake of Fire. Literally, the floor is on fire, so don't touch it. Gomez is still giving death daggers to Roxton, who's just trying to help, really. Challenger almost falls, but David saves him, and then David almost falls, and Roxton saves him. Lord John Roxton, sportsman. And as the natives run up, Gomez hangs back and lights this on fire, which is a great scene, too. I mean,
in the most fantastic of adventure stories.
The story started 3 years ago when Bert and White came to me.
now the trailers, you can't time it properly. So one of the natives is caught on fire here and falls down. You don't see him. You assume he lands in the lake of lava, the lava lake. But all these bones here, I mean, once again, these special effects and sets are great. Now they're trying to block the door with the big old, conveniently placed stone door and another big old boulder. Actually, it looks like petrified wood, but it doesn't matter. Frosty's still alive. Dang it, Cinnamon. And there is how they're going to get away from the natives, because they're going to unjam the the lake of lava up there. Now, why doesn't that log catch on fire? By this time, if you've watched it this far, you want to see how it ends because it's not a bad movie. It just shouldn't have been called The Lost World. I mean, plateau where time stood still, something else because of the lizards, and it would be. I mean, you could change the names, Professor Daring, and no one would have cared. But he bought Irwin Allen bought the rights to 19 a year earlier to the Lost World and wanted to make the Lost World. And legend has it that he hired Willis O'Brien to do the dinosaurs in stop motion. He'd worked with him on Animal World and knew how time consuming, and it would have taken 3 years to make the movie. It would have been a way better movie. But alas, and I don't fault the actors for calling them brontosaurs, except for the end, until the end, and tyrannosaurs, because they couldn't see what they were going to do until the end. But you just can't. So there's we're getting toward the end of the movie here. Oh, we found the diamonds. Costa's super happy and just filling up with that, and you know, and also we find somehow dinosaur laid an egg there, or a couple. There's more than one, and it's about the right size for a dinosaur egg, as opposed to the gigantic ones you see in, say, Toho movies or other places. And now Gomez is going to have his revenge on Roxton, but nobody, and then everybody else. He's going to kill everybody apparently. But suddenly, the guardian from the lake shows up when a shot rings out. It was a dark and stormy. It was a dark night, and there it is, the final lizard. I just can't call it a dinosaur. Of indescript. It's got sails and or a fin on its back. And Roxton saves Gomez, but Costa gets eaten. That's him in the background there. And he kind of deserved it. He is a jerk. I mean, he really gets eaten. That little puppet is really well done. So now they're even. I owe you my life, so I'm going to help. Ed's up there trying to break open the dam and not kill himself. Look at that. I mean, if you know where the line is, it's right there. But it's really well done. I mean, they had glued a lot of stuff onto this poor lizard. One can without any teeth. One can only hope that they didn't kill these lizards or they didn't get hurt. No lizards were harmed in the filming of this movie. It is not something you see in the credits. There was a complaint apparently lodged by the ASPCA. So you'd think by 1960 they'd quit being mean to animals. There it is, a pretty good look at it, and then there he is. Gomez sacrifices himself for the good of everybody, and he falls into the lake of lava, and that's it. Roxton and Malone run out, and the place blows up. They're at the bottom, but they really should get further away because, unless it implodes and everything oozes in, it's still going to come out the bottom there. Somehow, unless they, well, I don't know. They could have gone, it could be subterranean where the lake is, which would make sense, and then they had to come back up. But, in 97 minutes, if we went any further, the movie would be even longer. But now Summerlee bemoans the fact that we'll never be able to prove it. Now, in the book, Challenger brings back a pteranodon. In the first movie, he brings back a brontosaurus somehow. This time, he just has an egg. We'll have proof here. We'll raise it. They don't know what's in it. And Roxton has saved some diamonds, and he gives them as a wedding present, so they're set for life. And he's got some more for everybody else. So, and then an earthquake, a tremor happens. They drop it, and out pops another lizard, which Challenger grabs and says, "It's a baby Tyrannosaurus Rex." I think every kid in the audience groaned when he said that because we all knew what they were supposed to look like. They don't have horns. They don't have bug eyes. They have teeth. And I'd like a T-Rex if it was blue with brown spots. That would be fine. It's a cute lizard. This one is, but it's not a T-Rex. And then they say, what happens when it gets to be the size of a 2-story house? And Challenger says we all move out of London. It's like, well, wouldn't you? I mean, Gorgo hadn't happened yet, but we should have learned. You don't bring monsters back to civilization.
With its lake of molten lava, its fabulous pyramid of diamonds, and you'll be stunned by the horrifying 100-foot fire monster that guards a king's ransom in treasure.
That's not a fire monster. I've reviewed Gigantus, the fire monster. That's a fire monster. All right, my fellow agents, this is the end of the show here. I enjoyed the movie. I've watched it twice now, within 2 days of each, 3 days of each other. Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, and I've enjoyed it. I like the characters for the most part. I think the story is fine. I mean, there's some lapses there, but you got to give suspension of disbelief is a thing. It's just, couldn't somebody like CG some stop motion dinosaurs in there and make it better? I mean, normally I don't like people messing with movies, but for this one, I'd make an exception. I mean, really. Be that as it may, until tomorrow when we have a book review and it's a cool book, I tell you what, this is X7 signing off.
Greatest moment of your lives. There it is, directly ahead. A body of land uplifted by volcanic eruption 100 million years ago. The land where monsters lived.
Yes, you're heading out of this world by jet airliner, by hydroplane, by helicopter, into the wildest of all jungles, into the forbidding headwaters of the Amazon. With Michael Rennie, Jill St. John, David Hedison, Claude Rains, Fernando Lamas, and Frosty the Poodle, as they discover a primitive world exactly the way it was at the dawn of time, in the most fantastic of adventure stories.
For me, the story started 3 years ago when Burton White came to me. He told me of how in some Indian village out here in the jungle, he'd met a fever-stricken white man who babbled on about a plateau with monsters and diamonds.
Here is the most amazing of all possible worlds. You'll see man-eating vines that lure their prey, spiders as tall as trees, hair-raising attack by prehistoric monsters, battle of the Titans to the death, the most terrible creatures of destruction that ever walked the earth. You'll flee through grotesque underground mazes from cannibals who demand human sacrifice.
Sacrifice? The place they undoubtedly plan to kill you.
No, not me, please. Ah!
You'll be among the first mortals to cross the graveyard of the damned. You'll scale the incredible wall of death. You'll face the terrors of the Cave of Fire with its lake of molten lava, its fabulous pyramid of diamonds. And you'll be stunned by the horrifying 100-foot fire monster that guards a king's ransom in treasure.